Welcome back. Now, it's Breakfast Daily, right here on Citi TV. And the show is interactive. We'd like to hear from you throughout the show. If you're watching us on a live stream, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily for us to hear what you're thinking. On our WhatsApp line, you can send us a message if you're interested in commenting on any of the conversations we're having. If the conversations happen to be within your community especially, we would definitely want to hear from you. And so use the WhatsApp line. It's 0204-447-033. Let us hear from you and your thoughts, your comments on the things that we're discussing. We're going to go over to the Western region and the water issues that we have been discussing, for the last few months and maybe even a couple of years. It's not going anywhere. The challenges are increasing and getting worse, and some water treatment plants are also becoming compromised. As is expected, really. We're told, that we had to be careful, but by 2030 we could actually be importing water wholesale for use, and if we're not careful with the way we handle our water. Well, there's a report that we have for you. Let's take a look at this report. When we come back, we're going to call our correspondent and have a word with him to understand a bit better some of the ramifications. The Minister of Environment and Sanitation paid a visit to this particular plant. And let's take a look at this report.
Until the government stay committed to its promise to fight illegal small-scale mining in the Western region and the rest of the country, this is the state of water the Ghana Water Company will have to continuously treat as potable water for residents here in Sekondi Takoradi to consume. To ensure consistent supply of water to the many people the plant serves, the minister visited the construction site to apprise herself with the happenings. When completed, the expansion project will guarantee a situation that will hugely be beneficial to residents. While speaking to Citi News, the water minister said the future of the existing Dabuasi water treatment plant and the ongoing plant expansion looks bleak if the Galamsey does not stop.
It's very bleak. If we continue like that, 10 o'clock in the morning, they are on our river body, the mighty River Pra, doing Galamsey with champagne. We've all seen it. And that is the reason why we all say that we need to fight this and win this war. All these people have every right to mine, but legally. We are not saying nobody should earn a living. They should leave the river bodies alone. Now we have contracted a loan to revamp this system, water system, and do a new, bigger one. And it's the same plant that will give us the raw water. If we maltreat it, muddy it, where are we going? Does it mean we should allow a few people, because of lining their pockets, to do this to our river bodies and our land, and then sit down unconcerned? We're appealing to that they should stop. They should go and register legally and do legal surface mining. That will be good for them and this country. This is totally unacceptable.
The contractor has been speaking on the progress of work.
Our strategy is to perform as much as possible with the local resources and local manpower.
It's also our policy to make sure people in the community who are willing to work are given the chance to also work.
We are looking at that as well. At the moment, we have approximately 40% of the workers from the community around the site. From contractor's point of view, this project started 30th of May last year. It has a duration of 40 months execution. However, for Ghana Water, this plan to build this project is since long time ago due to the needs of water for the people from Sekondi area and Takoradi as well. At the end of the project, we'll be able to produce 100,000 cubic meter per day water.
The salt cutting ceremony was actually done in November 2020 before the election with a promise to actually finish this project in 3 years. But the project was actually started almost 2 years after the salt cutting which is May. Even though the government is now saying that it has money and hoping to now finish the project in some 3 years to come, whatever that will come out of here, if the issue of Galamsey is not nipped in the bud, the challenges that the current plant is facing is likely to be suffered over there too.
All right, so that was in the Western region at the Daboase treatment plant that the Minister for Environment and Sanitation went to pay a visit to for herself to see firsthand all the things that we have actually been seeing and talking about for a while now. Now, Akwesi Ejay Nim, our correspondent who brought us that report, has joined us on the line this morning. Akwesi, good morning.
Good morning, David.
Yes, how are you doing?
Doing fine here.
Wonderful. Akwesi, this problem seems not to be going anywhere anytime soon. Is it that our, leadership within the Western region is incapable of taking decisions? What, from where you stand as somebody who has covered these stories for years, in your mind, why are we where we are?
Well, David, I would say the problem with our inability to actually clamp down on the activities of illegal mining goes beyond just the region. I think it's just a manifestation of what we see across the country, where over the years we've done several security swoops at various Galamsey sites, and we still keep doing it. We have ministers flying around, coming on inspections, just like we saw in this report, and all of that hasn't actually ended the issue of Galamsey activities, which actually goes to pollute our water bodies that we depend on for raw water, that actually feeds our major water treatment plants in the region and across the country. And so what we are seeing here in terms of the fight is just like what we see across the country. There's been several calls. In fact, the minister was basically appealing to those in the practice of polluting the river body through their Galamsey activities to stop and rather regularize their activities. And you ask yourself, is that, the way to fight it? We have laws that must actually bite, but we still have people out there doing this Galamsey. Yesterday, the sad thing was that when we were at the intake site of the treatment plant, we could see around 10 a.m. Galamsey operators actually on the other side of the river with their things on the river, actually doing Galamsey. And the minister, together with entourage, she actually came with board members of the Ghana Water Company, just taking a look, just watching. And so that is how far her tour actually ended. She came to watch, appealed, and left. And over the period, this is what you've seen. And so if the question is, if we've been using this approach and it's not biting, it's not really bringing home the results that we want, then it means we have to review this approach, because we are even spending so much money with our ministers and our officials just coming to watch and making calls, and the issue still persists. And so I think it's about time we reconsider our approach in dealing with this issue.
So we have examples of people like the paramount chief of Sefiri, also traditional council Ketechie Kwesi Bumagama II, who actually banned Galamsey activities within his traditional area. And reports that we got at the time in 2022 was that the water bodies had started to recover, and I don't know what the issue is, because again, as you mentioned, we know how to solve this problem. We know what to do to solve this problem. And yet it appears that we will rather dress it with a cosmetic approach, pretending to do something to appease those of us who are up in arms against it. That is what it seems like to me.
It is so, David. I mean, that is a good model you mentioned with the Western North. I mean, Chief, taking the lead role to ensure that what the central government and the government apparatus could not do, he is able to do at this level. And I think it's something that other traditional authorities might want to consider to also take a lead in that direction.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is that, today, this very regime is doing everything to expand water production over here. In the Western region, Secretariat actually depends on 2 water treatment plants. That is the Ntraban water treatment plant. That gives us around 2.5 million gallons of water per day.
Okay.
And that of Daboase water treatment plant, where we went yesterday, would give us a peak production of 4.5 million gallons per day. And because the city demand for water supply per day is around is between 15 to 20 million barrels of gallons of water a day. They are looking at expanding the plant by extra 22 million gallons of water per day. Although the project seemed to have delayed, I would say, yesterday when we went there, we saw some foundation works taking place. But the sad thing is that if this thing is not actually clamped down, what is going to happen is that this plant will come and end up just looking like a white elephant, because it will definitely have to depend on this same Pra River, which is so much polluted. And so, for me, the model by the chiefs, I think if other chiefs can actually help, because they are actually on the ground and they command some kind of authority. And so, if the central government is not able to do it, they should be able to do it. But what makes this whole discussion more sad and very worrisome is the fact that the government, after several visitations.
All right. It's
River Police.
Okay.
River Police.
Yeah.
Although we have the River Police, yesterday when we went to the Pra River, these guys were on the river doing galamsey. And so the question is, where are the River Police? How are they recruited?
Yeah.
How are they recruited? And who are these people? Where are they?
Yeah.
They are supposed to be on the river, but this thing is actually going on. So I think it goes beyond just the normal rhetoric we hear.
I'm even amazed that whilst the minister was there, how long was the minister on the ground for at that place?
Oh, she was basically there for an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Okay, good. So there definitely was enough time to call in the River Police to stop the people who were using the champagnes. But the people who were using the champagnes, I presume, based on the footage we are looking at, continued to use the champagne till the minister left.
Definitely. Whilst we were there doing our tour, they were also busy doing their own thing. And the minister was just caught, watching with her interact. And so if there was proper system in place, as you said, they could have called the river wardens or river police to come in and stop them or arrest them. But they were just left with the operation going on.
All right, Akwesi, I just want to ask, so how are the local community or stakeholders around that area tackling this issue?
Well, the locals, if you talk to them, they will tell you that, yes, they need water, but they also need employment. They need a source of, survival. And so this whole galamsey thing will keep going on as long as it provides them some kind of, avenue to earn a living.
Right.
I think we need to be looking at our issue of unemployment. It might be an illegality, but if you have a vast population without jobs and they have to eat, people will find a way to survive. It might not be the genuine or what you want to actually see. They are looking at today. They are not thinking about what will happen in terms of tomorrow if there's no water for everybody to drink. And so I think as much as fight using legal means and all other means, appeals, just as we heard from the minister yesterday, we have to go beyond the appeals and the law enforcement and also look at the issue of unemployment.
Right. So talking about not having water sometime, do you know if there is actually a contingency plan in place to ensure that that there will be water supply if this doesn't work?
I lost you. I lost the latter part of your your question.
Right. So I was asking, do you know if there's an alternative contingency plans in place to ensure that water supplies, is available to these people if this whole plan does not work?
There isn't one. There isn't one. I must say, I mean, Takrady, for years now has been running, water rationing, and there are days that, the shortest interval that you can have water is once, 2 days in a week. Sometimes even when it is your turn, it doesn't come. And there are places that haven't received water for months. And so, and this thing has been going on for years. And so we really have an issue, but there isn't anything. We don't have a situation where you have the Ghana Water Company coming around with tanks supplying people. What they are saying now is that, to actually deal with some of these problems, the new plan that they are putting together, they are looking at having some kind of dam so that some of the water will go and settle there, and then it will be extracted for processing in the water treatment plant, unlike directly depending on the river. On the river, which usually has a lot of silt and makes it difficult for the intake to receive the needed water. And so that's what they're looking at. But this project, for instance, has so much delayed. The salt cutting was done in 2020, November, but it took us 2 years to even start digging the ground. Surprisingly, the salt cutting was done on a pavement here in Takrady instead of the salt cutting taking place at the treatment plant site. And that tells you why it took us 2 years to even start digging. And so we are hoping that this project will truly come to a successful completion in the next 2 or so years, and so that we'll see what mechanism they will put in place to make sure that our direct dependence on the raw water from PRA is actually reconsidered with new mechanism of what they are proposing, the dam.
Okay, fantastic. Akwesi, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. We appreciate your time. Thank you. So that was our correspondent who brought us that report from the Daboase treatment plant. I have challenges with how we appoint people, but they are literally powerless.
Yes.
I mean, the Minister for Environment there doesn't seem to me that she has the authority.
Yeah, there was no power shown.
Because you see, you're there as a Minister of State. You're a very powerful person. What happened? What's happened to us? You see, it smacks of a very huge problem, and we stare at it unconcerned, but it's going to come back and bite us big time. It's going to come back and bite us big time. Listen. The saddest part of all of this is that it's going to start by affecting the people who are furthest removed from the center of authority of this country. They'll be affected first. And then it will eat its way slowly in. We need to do something about this. Right? How does a Minister of State arrive at a location like this? Right, sees people on the river
just opposite
doing an illegal thing and doesn't make even a single move to stop them? It's befuddling. I don't understand that. Anyway, we want to speak to Darrell Bosu of Arocha, Ghana. They are doing quite a lot of work, in this space. All right, we've been joined by the Minister, actually, the Minister for Environment and Sanitation, the Honorable Cecilia Dapa. Madam Minister, good morning.
Yes.
Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to Breakfast Daily. All right, Madam Minister,
Thank you very much.
Please, from your perspective, if you could just share with us what you saw on the ground. I mean, we have the footage and everything else, but as you were on the ground yourself, what you saw and how it made you feel.
I cannot hear you.
Okay.
Can you lower the volume on your TV and let's have the conversation?
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I'm asking that on the grounds, when you stood there, what you saw and how it made you feel. If you can just share with us briefly.
Good morning, and good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners.
Okay.
And good morning to your team. I didn't witness this alone.
Okay.
We were a team with press, men and women. It's very disheartening to see that the systems that produce water for us, especially those of us in the secondary catchment area, will have to go because as and when the rivers are muddied through illegal mining, the systems break down, especially the filters and the pumps. Pumps that should last 25 years, 30, 12 years, they are gone.
Yeah.
Now, currently, 2 years, they are gone. It's a issue. Seeing them and confronting them, for me, is not the issue.
Okay.
Making sure don't sit on the rivers to do illegal mining is the issue. And that's why we have equipped our teams with drones. These drones can shut down. And I wouldn't expose the officials or the engineers on site to armed galamseyers. We should join the fight that the president has declared against illegal mining. As the president said, the government or Ghanaians are not against mining. Alluvial miners, it's been going on for over 200 years. What we are against, especially with respect to our water bodies, is for people not to mine in the river. It's not the powers that the minister can be closed in. No. It is a question of admonishing those who do mining the river, on the river, in the riverbed. This is what we are talking about.
Madam Minister.
We seek the military that go around to make sure these people are arrested, these people are dealt with. That is also going on. So this is what I want to say now. We all saw that we took pictures, and these are to be fed into the information given out as to the time of day people go and do galamsey. So when we are here, oh no, this was 10 a.m. And I don't think I would have told all of us, the whole team, for people
All right.
to shoot
All right.
people's lawyer.
Now,
Yeah.
we have the Navy police, we have river police who have all been commissioned and all that. I'm not sure why you feel that admonishing is the way to go. If somebody is committing an illegal act.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can I explain?
Yes.
Saying that the fight as we have it now, we have both patrolling, we have the military working to make sure this doesn't happen. I want to engage to add our voices also, so that we can engage communities. And we did that community to make sure those in the area, when they see this, they report to the appropriate quarters for action to be taken as well. Because boats might not be there for 24 hours, as I see on CCTV. These were people, they ran up the road taking these pictures. They were in the bushes. I find they talk to warn our engineers.
Okay.
That's why we all need Ghanaians. Nobody is saying you shouldn't earn a living. Nobody is saying you should do illegal mining. But muddying the river body or the mud not to be settling for the system or engineers to extract water to treat for the good people of the Kandita Private Forest and Abwase to drink. It's the issue. Admonishing to be part of it. engaging the community to be part of it. The media helping also to create awareness that these people can legally go and get permits and mine on the land. And there are located places. We also visited community mining sites where at any given day you have 18,000 youth mining. And this is a responsible way of mining. Admonishing our staff by any day to be part of our approach. So we are not neglecting all the other factors. It's a more certain approach we are advocating.
In any space where people are acting illegally, in any space, apart from Galamsey, in any space where people are acting illegally, we enforce laws more aggressively. It seems as though we are treating this with kid gloves.
This statement you are making, it's absolutely correct. But when you see this thing now, like we saw yesterday, we cannot call them and arrest them. They will run away. So the report is in appropriate purpose. That's what I need.
Okay. So the Seshuyosu chief in 2022, in October, there was a story on the 11th of October 2022. The Seshuyosu chief bans Galamsey. Now, he actually came out at a traditional council meeting and said that anybody within his jurisdiction, any sub-chief within his jurisdiction who allows persons within their jurisdiction to mine illegally will be sanctioned. And once he implemented that instruction at that level, their river bodies a couple of months later started to clear up. And we saw footage of that. And for me, if a chief within a jurisdiction can do this, why are our ministries not teaming up with the traditional rulers to make sure...
Not of the ministry teaming up. We all owe Ghana to fight this fight. The chiefs are part of it. The traditional rulers are part of it. Media, we are part of it. Ministry, allied ministries, part of it. It's only my ministry teaming up with the chiefs. You see, the degradation of the land and the destruction of our water bodies, these are the issues we are talking about. It's not only the real issue. We have 2-4 or 32, the second, declaring sale.
I made reference to the Seshuyosu chief because we actually saw results.
Don't worry.
We saw results. Yes, we've seen.
has also done it.
Those are two places.
Mampohene has also done it. We see the chiefs on board. It's a Ghanaian site. We all need to be on board. The president has publicly declared war on the illegal mining known as Galamsey. The chiefs, when we go for this outreach, like we were in Pretoria, we'll send you we'll play some of the soundbites from the chiefs. They need to be applauded. Even this morning, I have received a report about a chief wanting sheep to give land to some people to do Galamsey. And I'm trying to put it out to the appropriate court. This is the fight we are facing. And it's more precarious on our river body. So I would make the appeal to everybody. We that as a country, all of us are involved. I was just looking at your TV. It's 10 a.m. They are there. They are there. The comments I made off the cuff. You don't want to hear them.
Right, Ma. So I just want to ask, so in the event that the objective of the water treatment plant expansion is not fully realized due to this Galamsey, what plans do you have to ensure that there is water supply?
My dear.
Yes.
Before you inland, I will tell all of us that indeed there is no substitute for water.
Right.
Without adequate water, we cannot see any water for us to drink. That's the bottom line. That is the stark truth. we should all weigh and put in every effort. We at the ministry are doing our utmost. The chiefs, some of them are doing their utmost. Some are not also helping. We have the youth who, instead of getting into legal mining, decided not to do legal mining, but illegal mining, both on land and on our rivers. And we need to stop it. It needs to stop, and we can't stop it. All of us, we can stop it. It's not the fight for the president alone, or the ministry alone, or the chiefs alone, or the media alone. We all need to speak against it and do things.
So exactly what should we do? Because at this point, 6 years, 20 years, we've been doing this and we've not gone anywhere. We haven't made any progress. The Aboase is about to shut down because of this problem. We've not gone anywhere. And we just keep doing the talk shop, encouraging people, advocating and advising people. What should we do to stop it?
It's not a talk shop. Can I assure you, we don't do talk shop. I don't talk much. And I'm not prepared, without giving official report to their reporters, to discuss these things on air. If you want to meet me privately, we can discuss it. But not now on air. I'm sorry.
All right, but can you provide us with an update?
We will do everything to stop this menace on our river body, because the good people of Ghana need good potable water.
Right, but can you provide us with some update of the progress of the ongoing expansion?
No, so they are now pitching their camp and clearing the land to start, and it's 30 months.
30 months, okay.
Right.
All right. Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much.
So we will visit with the team one day, and you'll be in the full to go and face the boys on site.
Okay.
Right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Cecilia Bladapa. She is the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. All right, so the Honorable Minister says that it's a joint effort, that we all have to do this together. Now, one of the challenges that I have, and I think it's important for us to position this well, right? There was a year ago, maybe a couple of years ago, there was a story that I read about angry youth in Etiwa.
Yeah.
You know, and they said that they will not allow Galamsey in their community, right? The deputy minister came and took them on.
True. Mm-hmm.
The deputy minister came and took them on, and he says, "You can't. He said, what did he say? He said, you can't stop mining."
Yeah.
Right. The angry youth said, "Our forest is being
this is our
destroyed.
own community.
Our land is being destroyed." Right, by these Galamseys. And so we rose up and said, we will not allow anybody to come in. And he, the deputy minister, so that's why I was saying to the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources that I question their commitment to the fight.
True.
Do you understand? Because on one hand, we say one thing. On the other hand, you see that people actually have tangible results by taking a single stroke decision. Single stroke decision. Results have started showing up. Then you have a whole government machinery. So we are doing this,
so
we are advising.
It's like we're fighting among ourselves. Like there's a group that wants to make it better, and there's a group that is saying, no, do it this way. But that way that they want us to go through, it's not the best way to go.
Yeah. All right, we've been joined by Darrow Bosu, who is with Arocha, Ghana. Darrow, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, how are you this morning? Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Very well. How about you?
Well, I mean, under circumstances, I guess we can say we're doing okay. But the water pollution situation doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon.
Not at all. And we were also in the field on, I would say, Monday, Saturday, throughout the weekend. And in the eastern region as well, we saw that a lot of the rivers are still in a poor state. And most of the intake points are still polluted. And I think that we are not taking this seriously enough. For me, I hear the minister say that yes, water is very crucial to our lives and to every citizen, but our action is not demonstrating that, and that is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because if you look at this, the extent to which our river bodies are being polluted, and the fact is that in Ghana, all our sources of water, for those who drink from the taps, and in those communities who don't have access to pipe-borne water but fetch from the streams and all of that, you're all coming from the surface water bodies that we see around us. So if as a country, we just sit down and let activities like mining deplete or pollute our water bodies as we are seeing, then it means that as a state, we are not very serious at protecting our citizens. Now, the only thing is, it's not just about the fact that we are not getting quality water to drink. There is also inherent health risks associated with this.
Yeah.
The fact that we see the water bodies like this also is telling us that there is a lot of contamination that is also ongoing. And I guess we all remember some time back, the CSR came out to say that, as we all know, Ghana Water Company only treats and takes out the turbidity aspect of it, takes out the solid pollutants in the heavy metals, which are actually going to bioaccumulate in our systems and cause other diseases in the future, is something that the system doesn't filter or treat for. So if you really look at it, we are really at a very high risk of other diseases that is all of us going to be exposed to. And it's unfortunate that our government is really playing with this matter. I don't believe whatever statement they make indicating that they are very serious with this issue. If they are, with all those structures and military and also the water police and all the groups they've deployed, this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, I agree. And then also just a quick comment on the fact that we actually have traditional rulers, the Domahine as well as the Sesui, Yoso chief has said that paramount chief managed to be able to ban, using their traditional council structures, ban mining within their area, ban galamsey within their area, and the water bodies have started improving since last year. We've seen this, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's, you see, at Citi, we say, let's ban galamsey in its entirety. There's no discussion, no negotiation, no caveats, no loopholes, ban it outright. I don't know what you think.
Yes, thank you. You know, I think that the reason why we have the chief succeeding and government failing is that you cannot, rule a people with force. You need to also build trust. You need to build credibility.
Okay.
The people have trust in the chiefs because the chiefs do not demonstrate impunity.
Okay.
They don't say one thing and act in another way.
Okay.
But we see our state agencies and also allied institutions who say one thing and act contrary to that.
Okay.
I ask myself, it is not possible for any state agency, be it the police or the assembly in any area in this country, to say that mining is going on and they don't say it. That is false. They have access to see all of these things that are happening, but the very fact that they sit unconcerned and watch it happen means that they themselves somehow are culpable in fostering these activities from happening. And I believe that this is the point where we all need to pay attention to. There is no trust from the people in the state agencies that are supposed to be enforcing compliance of the laws that we're supposed to be implementing. And we have seen sometimes the way even some of the state agencies act with impunity, where you go to certain areas, you see the police visiting mining sites, not to drive them away, but to actually grease their palms and all of that and head back.
Wow.
And I heard somebody say not too long ago that if you go to certain communities, the vehicle or police cars are even more dirty than even some of the galamsey operators, because the police do frequent visits to the site just to actually take stuff from the miners. So I think that we need to start building credibility and build trust by ensuring that we practice what we preach. And this should come from the state. The state should learn from what the traditional authorities are doing. Now, on the point of whether we should ban galamsey or not, galamsey already is illegal in this country. I think there are certain mining policies that has been promoted within these past few years that I believe has contributed to this problem.
Right.
We have been doing mining in this country using small-scale mining and large-scale mining regimes. We saw government promoting community mining. And if you look at the environmental impact associated with community mining, and also allowing people, anybody at all, to have access to mining and concession and also mining licenses, then you ask yourself, how do we then prioritize protection of our farmlands and river bodies, which are equally sharing the same space? So until we weed out some aspects of certain mining regimes like community mining, I believe we are going to keep having this problem. And then we need to also strengthen the existing small-scale mining compliance regime and also the protocol. We have for so long watched them act with impunity that these guys are emboldened and they can work anywhere without ensuring that they ensure environmental due diligence. And that is where I believe that as a country we need to look at. So I don't think banning galamsey, because it's already banned. We need to, however, ensure that the current small-scale mining and large-scale mining are properly done and completely get rid of community mining. We do not need community mining. Mining is a very expensive endeavor. It has significant environmental and social impact. So anybody who is going to get into it should be prepared to take up the risks and not leave those risks to the cost of the public to pay. And that's what I think that we need to look at. Until we do that, we are just going to be in there.
So at the end of the day, we all want a healthy ecosystem, and that's what we are all praying for, a healthy ecosystem, because it will benefit each and every one of us. But with an organization like yours, how is it working with the locals when it comes to the issue of illegal mining? Do they listen to you when you talk to them? Do they comply?
Yes, I think organizations like us are doing some good job on the ground, but our biggest challenge has been the fact that there is a government active policy of promoting mining. And so even though there are options for livelihoods, for communities to take advantage of, government has really pushed the idea of mining into their heads so much that they think is actually the best way to get money now. There were several community groups that many years back, if you go and train them to farm, they are very eager to do it, to do other things like even grass cutter rearing. I agree that these things don't make significant income, but there were community groups who were really willing to do that. Now, if you go to a community and are talking to people about livelihood, they say, wait, miners are getting this, but since when did mining become something to equalize with other livelihood options? It is not comparable. And also because we see that communities don't really have any way of stopping this illegal mining. Everybody thinks that they can get in it. So when you go to the communities, you see community people aggrieved by the way their farmlands have been changed or transformed into mining sites, their water bodies are polluted, and they wish this menace never started at all. We have had discussions with several women's groups, young people, and all of them complain about the risks they've been exposed to as a result of the mining. But you see, for as long as government continues pushing an aggressive, accelerated mining industry, people will always think like that. And this is where I think that we need to see leadership show that they are serious about protecting our health, protecting our environment at the same time. Otherwise, NGOs can do whatever they do, but for as long as government uses state resources to push an extractive industry, people would always go back to the pits.
Right.
Darrell, I find it interesting you say that we don't need community mining. This is an agenda that the government has been on for the last couple of years. Take us down deeper a little, more to the understanding of this, because the community mining was supposed to come in as an alternative livelihood for people who are in Galamsey. From your opinion or your perspective, what is it that's so challenging about community mining that you feel it won't help the cause?
Okay, so as you know, Galamsey came about because of a failure of our compliance regime.
Yeah.
Yes, we had issues with livelihood. People were struggling with employment issues and all of that. But the reason why Galamsey thrived is because we failed to enforce our own mining laws. And that is why it began. So you don't solve that problem by going to find another activity that is similar to Galamsey and say is the way to go.
Okay.
We needed to put in place stringent measures. I have to agree that this was a very tough decision to take, but going the way we did with bringing in community mining was not the way to do it. Because already we know that people already do small-scale mining, and there were significant Ghanaians involved in that sector as well. All we needed to do was to strengthen compliance. Listen, I said this before, that mining is a very destructive and expensive enterprise. If you are not ready to go into it and pay for the cost of your degradation or your mess, you should not start at all. And this is what we are confronted with activities like community mining and some of these operators who act as though they've also have licenses. So I think until we really differentiate between people who are really serious to mine and ensure that they take the risks of not polluting our rivers, not destroying our forests indiscriminately, and are ready to rehabilitate the land, we need to get rid of any lower level mining regimes that does not ensure this.
Right.
And so for me, I think that yes, create jobs for people, but there are other ways, because let's bear in mind that the same lands we are allocating for community miners used to be farmlands, used to be agricultural farms, used to support cocoa and have potential to support other livelihood options. Why is government not investing equally in those green development pathways, but they seem to see mining as an option? I guess the answer is because they see more money now in that business, and that is not where we want to go. It's kind of dissipates our social values, our mentality, or our ethics to work hard for what we really deserve. And as you know, if you see all the damage of water and its implications on our health, then you ask yourself, is it really worth it?
All right. Okay, Daryl. Thank you very much. This conversation can go on and on and on. There's so many other things that are, popping up in my mind. I'm sure Chris too has a lot of questions to ask. But thank you for joining us this morning. Hopefully, the government, will set up and do the right thing that they need to do, which is simply to ban all forms of mining. And as Daryl said, mining is an expensive, investment. So it shouldn't be that we are trying to look for cheap ways of making it work. Cheap ways lead to what we are seeing.
To the illegalities.
Yes,
actually.
cheap ways lead to damage of the environment. You see, there's a reason why for many years mining has been done the way it's been done, and somehow we've been able to figure out through all of that how to protect the environment in the process. Let's not mess this up. It's already too bad as it is. We have to do everything we can to reel it back in. Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. There's more on Breakfast Daily.